So, good afternoon to all of you. Uh, in the last class, we have completed our discussion on distribution of wildlife in India, and we have tried to understand the distribution pattern of the wildlife in different biogeographical regions of India. And we have discussed all the biogeographical regions of India, and within each bio region, we have also studied about the important fauna of that region. So today I would like to move on to the next topic, which speaks about the wildlife problem. Uh, so this wildlife problem, which we are going to discuss today, is a very important one, and at the same time, it is the hello. One minute, one minute. ಹಲೋ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹಲೋ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ನಲ್ಲಿರಿ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. One minute, I will. Just wait. Okay. Now I hope you are hearing me and seeing the screen also. Alwa? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Digital
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ
sir.
ಇದೆಯಾ? Hello? Now whether you are able to see? Hello? 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 Now whether you are able to see and see the things? ಹೇಳಿ.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, there was small mistake. So because of that, all these things happened. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. Now coming back to the topic that we are going to discuss today, that's the wildlife problems. Of course, all of you know what is wildlife. Wildlife is the one, the animals or any animals which are not domesticated. Non-domesticated organisms, they are comes under this particular wildlife. So now there are only few places left on the planet where the impact of the human beings have not seen or felt. Virtually, the human beings have reached each and every corner of this planet and try to colonize it, conquer it. We human beings also call ourselves as the self appointed guardian of this nature. We have done much for the degradation of this entire planet. So, as a result, what has happened is all other things except we human beings are facing the problem. But human beings have not realized once the other living beings face the problems will be boomerang to human beings again. We have explored and left our footprint on every corner of the globe. At the same time, the world population is growing at an exponential rate, or at least at a alarming rate. This population expansion has left no place for the wildlife, or it has left very least area for them to survive. Probably if you recollect the first class in BSc first semester, where we are talking about the biodiversity, which is very essential and important for the human beings. And we forget that these wildlife are also the major part of this biodiversity, global biodiversity. But because of the, of course, without knowing this, what we have done is we have tried to colonize each and every area. We have tried to interfere with the nature. We have tried to control the life of this wildlife by various means, knowingly or unknowingly. That's a different aspect. And now, as a result, even we are losing the global biodiversity at a very faster rate. Of course, environment or biodiversity is always dynamic. It will not remain static, it will change. But because of the anthropogenic pressure or the human impact, the change is so much so that it is going to threaten the entire biodiversity. And we have changed everything, starting from land use and natural use of natural resources, climate change, polluting them. We have done a lot of things. And all these things are directly affecting on the life of the wildlife. Uh, it's also well-known fact that as the human population expanded, we started moving into the habitat which was previously home to the wildlife. Probably this is the major cause of concern, because we always talk about nowadays human animal conflicts. Of course, the human animal conflicts are there, but you cannot blame the wildlife for that conflict. It is because we human beings encroached their home of wildlife. Now and then you read in the newspaper, elephants have raided the banana plantation or sugarcane plantation and all those things. Why it's so? Actually, that was not the area where the agriculture or cultivation was done. Basically, it was the area home of the wildlife, elephants. But these elephants have a homing instinct. So, what they do is, occasionally they start riding on such things, thinking that that is their land. So, this is the major reason for the human-animal conflict, because we have encroached their area. Where its farms are built, it must be a traditionally elephant corridor, or it's also there. Many times we claim that the tigers are hunting the cattle population. It's because increasing number of livestock, and these livestock graze within the wildlife territory. Again, there will be conflicts, and as a result of all these things, even some of the natural resources which are required for the wildlife has also become very scarce, like the availability of the water and the land area. So, because of all these things, nowadays we read in newspaper or watch in TV about wildlife raiding the crops, livestock predation, and these conflicts have gone. If we talk about the problems of wildlife, today 23% of mammals and 12% of birds are considered as threatened dead. What do you mean by threatened dead? The species which are facing the danger of being extinct. the species which are facing the danger of being extinct. So 1130 species of mammals and 1194 species of birds, they are considered as threatened by International Union for Conservation of Nature. Why so? Of course, in past also many species have become extinct. Species extinction is a natural phenomenon, undoubtedly. When the new species evolves, the older one perish. It's the, or sometimes in some parts because of volcanic eruption and other things, natural calamities, also species used to become extinct. But today, what the concern is, the rate of extinction is very high. The species are being extinct at a very high rate. So that's the problem. According to some of the surveys conducted and reports, uh, since 1970, the planet has lost more than 58% of its wildlife. How many years? 70, almost 50 years. In the last 50 years, we have lost more than 58% of the wildlife. And probably we are facing the sixth mass extinction. Mass extinction was a phenomenon in olden days also. Probably if you go through your geological time scale, there and then you come across the term glaciation. The entire world used to be covered by ice and many organisms, most of the organisms used to die. This is what we call mass extinction. Like that, if you go through this geological history, there were 5 mass extinctions. Now this is what we are facing or what we are experiencing, what these wildlife are experiencing is the 6th mass extinction. So, in the 2016, every year the Living Planet report, it's an international report, every year, as per the 2016 Living Planet report, that reveals that the problems for the wildlife and other environmental crises around the world, it gives a clear cut idea how many are facing the danger of, how many wildlife are facing the problems, what are the other environmental crises and all those things. But this 2016 planet report, Living Planet report is very important because it also calls for the protection and rehabilitation of those wildlife which are left with us. At least whatever the things happened in the past, it has happened. Now we cannot restore it back. But what best we can do is we can protect those at least who are living and rehabilitate them. So another index compiled with the data of ZSL, that is Geological Survey of London, it says that the abundance of biodiversity was down by 58% from 1970 to 2012. Almost 42 years. Within these 42 years, we have lost the abundance of biodiversity to the tune of 58%. And they also estimate by now 2020 this percentage may go to 67%. That is worldwide Fund for Nature has submitted in its report. Up to 2012 we have lost 58% and another 8 years, that is by 2020, just now we have crossed 2020 and now we are 2021, we must have lost to the tune of 67%. Probably now you are in a better position to understand and appreciate the problems that are faced by the wildlife. The life of wildlife is threatened because of so many factors. It may start from hunting, poaching to habitat destruction, conversion, or it may be because of the climate change, or it can be because of the introduction of exotic elements or alien species, or it can be because of pollution or pests or diseases. So many things you can list out. Here I will discuss only those problems which are mentioned in your syllabus. The major problem for the wildlife appears to be hunting and poaching. Hunting and poaching. Of course, it is always against the law to kill the animals, but people do it. So this poaching is the illegal hunting and trading. I should add one more word. It is the hunting and trading. Either the animal as a whole or part. So this is happening in several countries, and probably this is the driving force for the extinction of many of the species. The poachers usually kill the animals which are in demand in the market, especially the rhinos, elephants, tiger, like that, and sell their body parts. Because the rhino horn and ivory, horn of the rhinoceros and ivory that is found in elephant tusk, are worth more by gram than diamond and gold. They are much more costlier than nowadays the diamond and gold. So that's why, especially in the international market, so that's why the poaching is continued. Probably this is a glimpse of some of the wild animals which are the target of hunting and poaching. First, let's try to understand some of the example and then come to the discussion. So, both African elephant, this is because this photograph I have kept it because it is the world's largest land animal. Asiatic mammals are slightly smaller than that. But the problem faced by either the African elephant or Indian elephants are one and the same. The elephant tusks are actually the modified teeth. So, the poacher kill the elephant for their tusks, from which they make made up of ivory. Ivory is very valuable to some people. We make lot of things ivory, starting from bangles to so many ornaments. This poached ivory is sold to people who carve it into beautiful objects such as statues or jewelry, and that's a very lucrative market for the ivory. It is estimated that 20,000 elephants are killed each year for ivory. Elephants need now when there's a demand, poachers will start killing. Only the thing is, people should stop buying and selling the ivory. But now, mainly the poaching was since last 20 or 30 years, the poaching was mainly in Africa. In the Asiatic region, there was some protection in the elephants. Now they have also banned this elephant. I will show you some of the photographs, and photographs will tell a lot more than the word. How brutally these animals are hunted for poaching. See, this is the ivory that has been confiscated from these poachers. In between, I will give you some of the interesting facts. Horn of a rhinoceros will fetch up to $5,000 in the black market. Today, a bowl of bear paw soup. Bears have the paws, and that is cut, and soup is prepared out of that. And it can cost as much as $1,000. See the money involved in that. So, because of that, 5 of the 8 bear species in the world are endangered. A carcass of one elephant can bring in between 3,500 to $6,500 for the purpose of ivory. See the money involved in this. Then coming to another example, especially I can say that big big cats, either tiger, leopard, or lion. See, this is a leopard. See the tiger skin. These are the horns of rhinoceros. Black rhino. Poachers usually hunt rhinoceros for their horn. The horn is made up of keratin. It is just like our hair. Black rhinos have 2 horns. That is the rhinoceros bicornis in Africa. Indian one is unicornis. It has single horn. So this poachers sell rhino horn to be shaven down, and then it is sold to the people who think it works as a medicine. Actually, this rhino horn is considered as aphrodisiac. Aphrodisiac means sex stimulant. There's a lucrative market in the Orient, that is in the Gulf, for this horn. But scientists have found no evidence that rhino horn has any value as medicine. See, how the horns are chopped off. This is how the whales and sharks are hunted in mass. See, the entire ocean has turned red because of the blood. Still, people catch them. These are it's a photograph from Africa where gorillas and chimpanzees are caught. Why? Probably you can see this slide. This slide will tell you. The food of these gorilla and chimpanzees much value. So that what they do, they catch and chop the food. How barbaric it must be, just you imagine. Then the first photograph that I had shown once, the cheetah and leopards and tigers all have the same problem. Cheetahs are very important. All apex predators are very important. All big cats, tiger, leopard, cheetah, or it can be lion, because they control the herbivores population. And cheetahs, tigers, and all of them are threatened because of human activity. One thing, they are losing their habitat, and poachers kill this for their fur, that is for the skin. They also trap cheetahs cubs and sell them. Even olden days in Europe, people used to have their own zoo, personal zoo, where cheetahs were in high demand. We have lost Indian cheetah, it has become extinct. Now government is thinking of introducing this African cheetah to India. Shortly a batch of 22 or 24 cheetah will come to India. The world's fastest animal, which can run at the speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Pangolin. The only mammal that has been covered with scales. The people trap pangolin because their scales and meat are so valuable to some people. The scales are used in traditional Asian medicine. This is found only in Asia. The pangolins are the world's most smuggled animal. And pangolin scales are made up of keratin like the nails and hairs. Even scientists have proved that pangolin scale has no value as medicine, but in spite of that, that's going on. Then these animals are mainly hunted for meat, many of them, but also for skin or for medicinal or chemical properties. Some of the frogs are hunted to poison the arrows. There are some poisonous frogs. The tribal people catch them and kill them and apply the poison to the tip of the arrow. Poison arrow tips. And one particular toad, midwife toad, which is in the Amazon, is thought to have some medicinal value. Tigers are hunted either declaring as a cattle lifter or man eater. Every now and then in the newspaper you must have read the hue and cry by the people that tiger, leopards are lifting their cattle, or some of them have become man eaters. Then they are permitted to kill. In olden days, of course, the tigers and all these big cats were hunted for trophies. But this hunting and poaching problem was not there something 200, 300 years back. Probably this hunting became a problem only after the invention of our arms. Earlier, people used to hunt either using spears or arrow and other things. And occasionally and these wild beasts were also plentiful. Then hunting was somehow it was justified at that time. But after the invention of modern arms, hunting has become nothing. It has become passion for many rich people, Rajas and Maharajas also. So with this modern arms and ammunition, people started killing the wildlife like anything. And even if you go through our history also, either in the post-independence era also, there are some beautiful stories written about these hunting experiences. Probably you know the Jim Corbett. Basically he's a naturalist. He has done a lot of good things for the nature. So that's why a national park of prominence is named after him, Jim Corbett National Park. He has written a lot of books how he has to hunt the tigers and leopards when they become man eaters in northern India. If you come to South India, there are Kenneth Anderson, who was in Bangalore, and he has written 2 volumes, that is Omnibus 1 and Omnibus 2. Both the copies are in our library. If you find time, just you go through it. So he has also narrated how he has to he how he used to hunt the, but he never killed the normal wildlife, but only when the tigers and leopards have become man eaters. Then, in order to save the human life, he was asked by the government, and very beautifully narrated ones. But there you can understand the problems of this wildlife. So, uh, turtles are heavily harvested for meat and their eggs. So, lot of turtle visit this our west coast to lay the eggs. But the people come and take the eggs and make cuisines out of it. Uh, Even Asian tropical freshwater turtle are in serious decline because they are extensively hunted for food or for the use of traditional Chinese medicine. Thousands of tons of these live tide turtles are caught or sent to China annually. Many of them the custom officer confiscate either in the airport or shipyards. So this is unsustainable level of collection. And some of the hunting is done by the subsistence purpose, for as a means of livelihood by the villagers, by some farmers, miners, loggers who live in the forest and use the forest animal as their major food source. Some by commercial hunters to supply the urban market, because this is the major source of income. I was told by one person the wild boar meat fetches almost 400 to 600 rupees per kg. So that's why people go for wild boar hunting. In fact, this hunting and poaching of wildlife is a very serious problem for the nature. For the short term economic benefits, many people hunt those organisms. As a result, tigers, bears, deer, snakes, other animals are near extinction in many places. I can quote two examples here. One is, if you ask your parents, they will be able to tell, those who are coming from the rural area. During our childhood, we have seen that people used to come and collect the frogs. Every village, some people used to come and they used to collect the frog. Because there's a huge market in US for the frog leg. How many such frogs we must have lost? Snakes were caught for the purpose of their skin. The snake skin is highly prized, especially to make hats or purse, bags and all. So these are, that's what I told you, for the temporary economic benefits, we have hunting them. This is the major problem faced by almost all wildlife, major wildlife. Then the second one is the overexploitation. That the overuse of wildlife or plant species by the people for food, clothing, pets, medicine, sports, and many other purposes. Overuse beyond their sustainable limit. Beyond their sustainable limit, if you start overusing any of the wildlife, you can call it as overexploitation. Of course, we people have always depended on wildlife and plant for food, clothing, medicine, shelter, and many other needs. But now the problem is the resources are being depleted or consumed than the natural world can supply. This is overexploitation, overuse of this one. So for that, what we have done, we have taken lot of species from the natural environment, and this species may no longer able to survive. Remember, loss of one species can affect the life of other species in the ecosystem. Being the students of biology, you know, all organisms in an ecosystem are held by means of the food web. If one species is lost, the food web will be incomplete. Overexploitation is done either by hunting, trapping, collecting, fishing at unsustainable level. To give one example, the hunting of the passenger pigeon. The passenger pigeon was hunted to extinction early in the last century. Even overhunting nearly caused the extinction of even American bison and several species of whales. Overexploitation is clearly visible with respect to the fishes. With the improved fishing gears and boats, fishery has become an industry. And we have become very efficient in harvesting the fish and shellfishes. In fact, the fisheries was industrialized, and global demand for fisheries seafood are increasing. Some of the prized fishes such as swordfish, cod, tuna, they show dramatic decline. Even in some of the great lakes, overfishing has caused the whitefish, walleye and sturgeon population to decline beyond. Then many of the marine and freshwater fishes are trapped for aquarium trade. Overutilization, overexploitation. Probably it will be more clear if I give you an example of our local area. During the fishing season, every year, the fishermen or the owners of the boat cry saying that they are not getting enough fishes. And many people, those who eat fish, also know the rate of the fish is soaring high. Why is so? Why the fish population has declined? To give an example of Uttara Kannada district, the fish catch today is almost equal to the fish catch of the pre-mechanization period. Now all boats, gas, everything is mechanized. Earlier the fishing was done with the human strength, muscles. Now the amount of fish what we get is almost equal to the pre-mechanization time. That means once the fishing industry was mechanized, we actually started sieving the sea, leaving nothing there. So these fishermen and boat owners who cry for the problem should understand that they are the culprits for this problem. They are the culprits. What they have done? Because of the industrialization, They have used different types of nets, Persian nets, which can drag, which can virtually sieve everything. Different types of nets, hooks. Even during the fish holiday, actually from June to August end, to July end, it's the fish holiday because that's the breeding season, which all of you know that. No, they ventured into the ocean. Even they caught all the adult fishes. So, how when these adult matured fishes are caught, how can you expect them to lay eggs and continue their population? So naturally the population has gone down. Even sophisticated this thing like uh, fish finders, they will tell where the fish is there, and they capture entire fish school and remove them. And how their population is going to develop? We have left nothing there. Then we have decreased the mesh mesh size of the nets. So much small mesh size, 2 inches, 3 inches, or even less than that. Even youngs and juvenile fishes are also caught in that. This is an example of overexploitation, and we are every day we are facing this problem. Even if you come to the birds, certain species of birds are collected or hunted for sports, food, or pet trade. Parrots, songbirds are prized pets. Millions of birds are traded internationally. If you look into the 30% of globally threatened birds, they are affected by over exploitation. Particularly the pigeons, parrots, pheasants. In US there was one parakeet, that's a Carolina parakeet, only species of parrot in US, but it was hunted to exploitation in the beginning of this century for food and to protect the crops and for its beautiful feathers, which is adorned by ladies in their hats. As we have discussed in the very beginning, the mammals are hunted for fur, food, sports, for their horns or antlers. Even they are also trapped for Jew, trade, and biomedical research. Even today, though it is hunting is banned, the illegal hunting still threatens many species, especially large mammals like tigers, rhinoceros, bears, primates, whose body parts fetch a lot of money. Amphibians are collected and shipped all over the world in the pet trade for medicine and for education, especially the frogs. Now the frog dissection has been stopped, but when we were student, each student used to dissect 4-5 frogs. Then imagine how many, the number of science students, even at the PU level we used to dissect. And for each student minimum 2 to 3 frogs means how many frogs we must have dissected. Frog legs are delicacy. One particular frog, that is the California red-legged frog, it has been protected endangered species. It was overhunted for food. Reptiles, again they are hunted for poach for skin or shell or for their eggs, meat or for pet trade. Even today, reptiles are harvested and traded around the world. One example, the overharvesting of Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. Kemp's Ridley sea turtle egg nearly led to its extinction. Even olive ridley turtle, which visit our coast for laying eggs, the eggs are taken out by the villagers, and it is so. For that reason, nowadays Karnataka Forest Department has brought one program. If you get the olive ridley turtle eggs, you hand over them to the forest department, and you will get 10 rupee per egg from them. So by that you can easily purchase the chicks egg. And invertebrates, even small these things, animals like insects, oysters, octopus, crayfish, sea stars, scorpions, crabs, sponges, especially the marine invertebrates, are at the higher risk of overharvesting. To give an example again, in the Aganashini river estuary, there are lot of crabs and shells, shell fishery, mytilus, or what you in Kannada call badachu, different types, kalga and all. Daily, several tons of them are collected by the local people and it is sold in the market. Even we are not allowing them to grow till maturity. So if you harvest them, overexploit them before reaching the maturity, how the population is going to continue? So this, even horseshoe crab are being harvested as a bait for eel fishing, or fishing of another fish, that help heck fishing. Even octopus are also fished out. Shells and corals are collected for ornaments and jewelry. So, here with some example, I have tried to give you the problems faced by the wildlife. Today I have touched upon only two problems. One is the hunting and over harvesting. Probably tomorrow um, or day after tomorrow, I think day after tomorrow on Saturday, we can discuss about other problems also which have been mentioned in your uh, syllabus. So for the day I will stop here, and just I wanted to know, is there any doubt, or have you any question? Do you have any questions? In the beginning, I have tried to explain them, showing the photographs. Then only you can understand the intensity of the problem that has been faced by the wildlife. Because what the pictures can tell, the words cannot reveal. So that's why I have used those photographs, though it may appear barbaric. Yes, now tell me, any doubt? Another question ಇದೆಯಾ?
No, sir.
No doubt, no questions. Any
Sir,
suggestion? ಹಾ ಹೇಳಿ.
sir, sir, next Thursday 2:30 ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಿ sir.
ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನನಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಯಾವುದೂ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 3:30 to 4:30. ಸೊ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು, ಇಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರೈಟ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಏನು 2:30 to 3:30 ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
So whether we can uh, start at 2:30? ಏನು ನಾಗೇಶ್ವರಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಈಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದ್ಲವಳು? ಹೇಳಿ, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಬೇಡವಾ? ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ
ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಹಾಂ
ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್.
ಏನು
ಸರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಟೂ
ಏನು
ತರ್ಟಿಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸರ್.
2:30ಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ 3:30 ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೋನ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ 2:30. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಊಟ
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಆಗಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಬೈ 2:30.
ಎಸ್
ಎಸ್
ಸರ್,
ಸರ್.
ಎಸ್.
ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ನನಗೇನು ಅಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಟ್ 2:30. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಅಟೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ
ಓಕೆ
ವಿಲ್ ಮೀಟ್
ಸರ್.
ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ,
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್. ಭರತಿ